Alrighty, today we're going to go over how to draw Distortus Rex from Jurassic World Rebirth. So let's get started. It's going to be a close-up of his face, so let's draw it together, okay? First thing I'm going to do here is we're going to draw, and this is going to be, like I said, it's a close-up, so kind of a curve line right here for just his general forehead. He's got this huge bump, like this big old narwhal forehead going on. Not really sure why. Curve up over here for the top. I'm going to keep actually kind of going along the top over here. And we're going to pull back, kind of just a little bit of bumps off the page there. This is a little bit more profile. If you go check out the listings, I put another one close up of the face, a little bit more head on. This one's going to be like more of a side view. Down over here for kind of the skin area right there. I'm going to pull down to the teeth area. Okay. Kind of just wiggle some teeth back. And line right for the cheekbone. So you have the teeth right here, and then you have the cheekbone right there, okay? That's kind of what's going on. Over here, down, up, well, like straight across, up, curve, curve underneath for the eye. By the way, let me know what you guys thought of the movie. I'm curious. I haven't seen the movie yet. I'm going to watch it with my sister. Like a few days, I believe. So no spoilers, by the way. So, but let me know what you thought in the comments. All right, bag under the eye, right there. I want to make him look like he's got a very scary kind of seedy eye right there. Pupil of the iris there. Curve, just a couple little lines right here for kind of the fin, show the bulbousness of that big old bump on his head. Line down for tooth, up, down over here, up, down over here, right there, for the tooth right there, down, up, down over here. Again, it's just triangles aiming downward, but as you're going across right here, you want to, how do you say, vary up the sizes of what's going on here. There we go. That's going to be super important to vary that size up. Up over here, up over here, up over here. There we go. Putting a little bit of a darker line over here underneath the cheekbone, just to give it a little bit more, like, you know what I mean, oomph, little depth. Okie doke. Line over here again for that bulbous kind of head, showing off that bulbous head right there. Okay, so let's do the back of the jaw, alright? So, maybe along this point, well, let me see. Yeah, back of the jaw. Line like so, right? It's coming out the back end. We have a line over here. This is kind of a skin flap that you see a lot on different dinosaurs, so just kind of something to take into account. Kind of a skin flap on the inside of the mouth. Pulling out just a bit. And I want to put on a little bit more, just kind of give him a little bit of an underbite. I think that looks creepy, you know? I think it looks cool like that. Down over here. Pulling back flat for the most part. I'm going to curve along the back of the jaw. Line in. And right there as well. So now you got the jaw at that position. Before we do the teeth, okay? Line right there for the neck. Another line right here because his neck's going to be kind of baggy a little bit. Line over here. Put a little bit of a dark area right there in the back of the jaw. Same thing over here underneath the neck. There is kind of like this, you know, feeling there. This, how do you say, like a little bit of a, like the folds of the neck, right? Like you're wrinkling paper or wrinkling cloth. Curve here for one of his big arms over here on the side. Same thing over here on this side. You're pulling this kind of in one direction. If you want to learn more about stuff, go check out the link in the description, by the way. There's a how to draw head, Godzilla head tutorial, like a PDF, and there's a lot of cool stuff on the website. I'm updating the website every day now on sketchmonsterart.com. It's going to be the basics of drawing. I'm just updating stuff constantly there, so go take a look at that when you can. Let's go to the bottom row of teeth, okay? You want it to kind of curve into his mouth, by the way, when you're doing these. Even though they're various sizes, you want it to curve into the mouth, okay? And because when something eats its food, you know, it's kind of going in, like, it's just kind of like, you know, the way it works. Back arm over here. And now I think what we can do here is, it's pretty simple to just kind of draw little thin lines. Do you see it? Around just kind of like bulbous areas that you think are gonna, wherever the skin's gonna stretch, right? So maybe along the side over here, along this area. Maybe along the back. Curve. Line over here, along the right there in that area. And something that's, you know, it already looks weird, and see how, like, when you're drawing little lines right here, that, so look at the area right here, the jaw, right? So when, think about your own gums, right? When your own gums, you have teeth in there, they have like the flesh around it grips onto the teeth, because you're going to use the teeth, right, to munch on stuff. So to do that, you kind of throw a little line kind of around that area, even though technically those are not the gums. You want to throw a little bit of line right here because it just looks creepier. I don't know how to say it, but that's kind of what I'm trying to portray a little bit through the outside, even though they're not technically his gums, but in a way, you know what I mean? So line over here from the back, right here. I'm gonna fill it in. Okay. There we go. Just kind of fill it in the back because we want to give this guy depth, right? And I'll leave like a little line right there to kind of show that there's something else going on. But you want to give this guy depth, and it's really going to matter if you give this guy depth. Because it does at the end. At the end, you're kind of like, okay, cool. Like, this is a more believable drawing. You're kind of thinking, you know what? I kind of believe that, right? Even though you know it's fantasy, your suspension of disbelief activates more when you have little details like that. You have this depth in his mouth. Let's draw like another tooth back there, right? He would have like another tooth. Maybe there's one back here, right? It's up to you. His head looks a little bit too clear. So maybe you can draw like some lines over here, just some thin, tiny lines that don't distract. Because the more you do those little thin, tiny lines, the more, like, again, it's gonna look more like his texture, right? Even though we're not explicitly doing texture, right? It'll look like texture. Same thing over here, like there's folding along here, right? You can throw another line right there and it won't make a difference one way or the other, right? If you want to learn, like I said, more about this stuff, go to the main website. I want you also to kind of ask me questions in the comments, right? And I will totally, we can totally talk. I'm very, very reachable right now in the comments. Go say something. I read every single comment, but that is it. I want to thank you very much. You are amazing, and we'll talk later on, okay? I'll see you in the next video. Okay, so that was amazing. You finished this lesson, but keep it going. Keep the art practice going by clicking this video right here. It's going to be within the same theme, and you want to keep it rolling to get better and better and better and get that art flow going. So click right here.